And we are live, and we are talking about some little beaks with axes on them. In other words, as we locals call them old hammerheads.
The Hammerhead Boyd.
Hammerhead bird built brain.
The Hatchet Hawk.
I honestly really like Axebeaks.
I don't. I think they're stupid.
I think they're stupid and they're shit. I don't even know why we're talking about it.
It's like a Chocobo, but less cool.
You suggested them just to hate.
I disagree.
Why are you like this?
I disagree with you, straw man. You just fabricated.
You burn my straw man down? What the hell?
Yeah.
I burn your straw man down and then I slurp up his milkshake.
I cast Fireball on your scarecrow.
I always love the
My
idea.
scarecrow's too scary.
I love the idea of like a fucking Axebeak that, like, because it is basically just a Chocobo with a fucking axe head.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the stupid thought of you're running at somebody with an Axebeak, and while you're like attacking on its back, its fucking head is just like rocking and like slamming into people.
They're large. I never knew that.
Yes, they're
horses.
Something
What
I
the
found
heck?
annoying is Axebeaks show up in the fucking D&D movie, the Honor Among Thieves.
Oh yeah.
But they're like tiny. They're like little tiny.
The fuck?
Yeah, because like
remember
they're running in the street. That's like in the deer chase scene. She like runs past them, and they're like a bunch of tiny little Axebeaks. They're like Roadrunner sized.
You gotta remember, during that movie when we watched it, I was half drunk and half paying attention as we were talking about them.
Oh, that's true, actually.
That's the only time I saw it, a few Gen Cons ago when we all first met in person.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they look like kind of like dodos in that. It's just wrong.
So my view is warped of them. I didn't even put two and two together. They were in D&D book. I don't know if I just missed them or not, but I knew them from the Tale series. And if you haven't seen them from the Tale series, they're probably about turkey sized, and they were cute little things where they had a big wind up attack and they'd slam in the ground, but if you dodged it, their heads would be stuck in the ground. So it's just kind of cute little thing. It'd be like,
You know why you probably never noticed them in the original Monster Manual?
Were they not in it?
They don't have art. They're just a random stat block that's just kind of tossed in there.
Well, there you go.
Oh, you're talking about the
original like Axebeak.
5e?
Yeah, the 5e1.
I bet in 2024 they have the most beautiful art ever right next to like two semicolons that should describe what it is.
It's actually pretty solid. But in the first edition, they just look like poorly drawn ostriches.
Yeah.
And then in second edition, it's also just an ostrich. And then third edition, they were like, what if Axebeak was Axebeak? And then they carried it forward.
Yeah, why does its thighs look like that? It's got thick thighs on it.
Yeah, it's a very stout ostrich.
Looking kind of good. I think
that's one of the times I think 5e did the best art for them. God dang, yeah, the 2024 art is pretty dope, and yeah, it basically is just a white chocobo with a big beak, but still.
They have them in Rhymo the Frost Maiden, and that's like my favorite fucking art of them.
It's really good.
Is it the kind of pale white looking one?
Yes, the white
one where it's
one.
like the beak reaches the top of their head, and then
that's the one I'm looking at.
It's such a sick ass design because it is straight up like fully like big fantasy-esque kind of axe. And I find honestly, I think the cool thing about Axebeaks is there are some real world equivalents, not just like ostriches, but like the general idea of like terror birds that used to be in like the Americas.
Oh, like cassowaries?
No, those aren't in America, but you are right. Cassowaries are very similar to Axebeaks, and they are
they're scary.
One of the deadliest, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, they're up there. I mean, I was around an emu once, and that was already kind of intimidating. Like, have y'all ever heard of emu?
Actually, a little lore story. When I was growing up back in Central California, so from age like 6 to 13, 14, I don't remember exactly when everything changed, but a block away from my house was a guy who worked for the SPCA, like the Animal Foundation. and he had some of these like wild escaped animals or confiscated animals. Okay. So he had like 2 or 3 pigs, a couple of geese that lived just in his backyard like permanently, and among them were 1 or 2 emus. And he took care of them. They just were in Central California in this like rural little offshoot neighborhood, and I helped take care of them for a little while. They are very tall, scaly, dinosaur-like, and a little scary, but they're relatively docile, even though they do have terrifying noises.
That noise tripped me up so much because I was not even registering what that was. If you never heard what an emu sounds like, Google it, because you wouldn't expect it, where they have a big old vocal sack that they literally just use like nearly like a big old frog, like where like they just build up their noise down here and it just comes out. It's so deep and bassy, like
the bubbling.
Yeah, like it sounds like a drum built in their chest. It's interesting because that's what I assumed it was. Me and Kristen were at a turtle sanctuary that was like an hour from our house, and in the back they're just like, oh yeah, we got some peacocks and an emu. You want to look at them? I'm like, yeah. So we go back there and we just see this emu just like walking up and down like just the strip, and I just hear donk, 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 donk. And I'm looking around thinking like one of the kids that's feeding a turtle's just like whacking on a fence or something, but no, it's that thing. And then I fully process its mouth's open as it's happening, like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, I definitely saw like the dinosaur in it when it was just watching it, and
another weird guttural bird that's very adjacent to this is the shoehorn or the shoebill stork, I think is what they're called.
Fucking gun kind of noise that they could make.
Yeah, so they chitter and clap their jaws, and if you look at their skull, it looks exactly like a shoe. It's fucking weird.
Yeah,
but they are some of the, for how terrifying they look, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's ugly. I don't think they're ugly.
I think they're cool.
Yeah, they're really cool. They inspired the birds in the Zelda game that you fly around on birds in. Which game is that? Skyward Sword? Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword, yeah.
Those are based on shoebill storks. And they are some of the most docile birds, where researchers are able to get within 9 feet of them without drawing aggression or making them fly away, which I think is like documented top tier, like they don't give a fuck unless you're encroaching on their nests. So they're very sweet birds. They're very big. They're very spooky looking.
Yeah, that's funny because they look so angry if you look at them, but
I remember
that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, I remember hearing that like they recognize their caretakers and stuff, and will sometimes form bonds with them.
I'm sorry, Mario. You just look up shoebill in Google Images. It's just an image of one like biting a monkey, and it's just fully in his mouth.
It's deserved.
I guess back to Axebeaks with them, like, I love the idea of them just because it is very, like, because I'm not necessarily a big Final Fantasy guy. I have not played many Final Fantasy things, but I would say I love it. They do kind of hit that feel of fantasy mount to me, where I'm just like, I feel like the way, because I have used them in games, and that has been basically where it pops up is like, oh, in some places, like you have these more exotic kind of animals, and it's just straight up like, yeah, these Axebeaks, these big fucking like.
They just fit the environment well, like in Chult.
Yeah. Yes. It's super good for something, because they are in Chult, aren't they? In like the.
They are.
Yeah.
In a Tomb of Annihilation.
They feel pretty appropriate in Chult because, I mean, they're like the fantasy equivalent of like probably the peak of like Toucan evolution.
Something to that effect. Or dodos. They're like if dodos were apex predators instead of little pudge muffins.
I love the idea of potentially having an environment where it's like, oh, it's too difficult to have like horses travel here. so we need to use Axebeaks or something like that. Like you have these more maneuverable kind of
Oh yeah, because
mount.
I mean, you're in a dinosaur place as it is. You might as well use their cousins.
Yeah.
And I also always feel like mounts are very overlooked in D&D.
Yes.
100%. And I feel like it's a lot of DMs just don't want to deal with them, so parties just get negative reinforced on them.
Yeah, it's an extra step. It adds to the narrative, and it's also a risk because they can't level up. They can't get extra hit points.
Yeah.
But when it comes to travel in stories that, again, you have to go a long ways, it's really easy to just be like, yeah, you guys go there and it takes this amount of time, and skipping the aspect of horses. But they're super valuable when you have a game that focuses on stuff like carry capacity.
Honestly, in my current game, like my longest running one, the players all have mounts. Like a big one, I think a big saving grace that they've also had is I've given them like an option where all of them have had like a chance to basically get a summon steed.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically creates one, like, because there's one player that has like a horse that they've had from the start of the game, and I've basically just started adding hit points and like some extra stuff to the horse. But the other ones, like with the summoned steed, the biggest bonus that comes from it is like, oh, no matter what happens to this thing, if it dies, it always comes back.
Yeah, it's the find familiar of mounts.
Yeah, because I nearly feel like you need to do like the animal companion thing where like the rangers have like the innate ability to res them if they go down.
It's a mix of that and druids that can transform into mounts like horses, but also Axebeaks are a really good transformation that you can utilize.
Because the reason I think Axebeaks are so sick, because also I don't really agree with the stat blocks. Actually, I'm so curious as to what the new stat block for an Axebeak looks like, because
you want them to be like slightly stronger horses, just with maybe more durable, but with a lower strength. Their carry capacity should be smaller because they're bipedal.
Yeah, because I think Axebeaks, I think they should honestly have the benefit of, I don't know how true to life this would be, but I kind of feel like if I were to dick around with an Axebeak, I would want to make them like potentially more, like I would probably compare them more to like a Velociraptor and give them like make them at least as fast or maybe faster than a horse.
Okay.
Or like dock some of their hit points.
A horse has a higher damage potential than an Axebeak, and that does not sound right at all.
No, that makes absolutely no sense.
I feel like an Axebeak should be able to like pounce or like because I love the thought again of just, you know, you're on your Axebeak and it's not like a horse where it's like I feel like the horse, obviously you have the ability to like charge and like stampede somebody down, but with the Axebeak you have the potential of, this fucker is going to get up close and personal, and obviously it has the fucking Axebeak, so it's literally like, while you're fucking smashing the shit out of somebody, it's slamming its fucking head into them.
And also I want to clarify, I'm talking about the riding horse, not the war horse. Like a regular horse can do 2d4
really?
plus
that
3.
One already?
The
and
fuck?
An Axebeak can do 1d8 plus 2. So base minimum damage, a horse is going to do better.
Yeah, it's crazy that horses have a higher damage floor with 2 separate dice, but
they also got another +1 to hit, and a horse is a horse. Like, it's not a fantasy creature. That just feels weird.
Axebeaks has +1.
Oh, really? That's weak. But just the fact that it's 1d8.
No, like, because I'm looking at
that they're inspired by like just the stats of an axe. I get that.
I'm looking at the new one has a +4.
Okay,
which is okay, but it's really lackluster. It's also a 1d6.
I'm looking at Roll20's 5th edition. Oh, they nerfed it? They turned it into a hand Axebeak?
God damn.
Yeah, I guess so. Hold on.
That's weak.
Hold on, that'd actually be a real fun a fun interactable. You get like a toucan size Axebeak and you throw it and it just flies back.
I like
Oh my
that.
god, they did nerf it because the old one had 1d8. Why did they
Yeah,
fucking
that's what Chuck
nerf
just
the
said.
Axebeak?
That's terrible.
Yeah.
And they're still the same size. They're not tiny. What's the point of these things then?
Yeah, it's a hand Axebeak. It's not it's an Axebeak. What the heck?
Yeah, big.
It's a hatchet beak.
Big things, revamping them because also what's their movement speed looking like? They only have
They're
like
supposed to
50
be
feet
faster.
Okay.
Yeah, they should
What
be
the fuck?
fast.
Horses are 50 feet. So
No,
they're just
um,
useless.
The horse I'm looking at is 60 foot and an Axebeak is 50 foot.
I think a war horse is.
And this
slower.
is,
But in their literal bio, it says they're supposed to be faster than horses, and they just aren't.
And also to clarify, I'm
Yeah.
using a Roll20's 5th edition compendium.
Yeah. What a travesty.
Yeah, right now like
That's lame.
because the warhorse is at 60 feet.
Yeah, a war
Anything-
horse goes 60, and they're 50. I
Yeah.
would think a riding horse is supposed
Riding
to be like the
horse
fastest
is-
comparatively. Or are they
Riding
built
horse is
more
also
for
60 feet.
endurance? Well,
Let me
then,
pull, let me pull up the
fuck
goddamn
stupid
war
bird, I
horse
guess.
because the war horse is going to be even wilder when you look up that.
So if anything,
That's what he
big
just did.
thing-
It was also 60.
Big thing
Okay.
I would like revamp with an Axebeak is one, probably popping them up to either 60 or even just like 65 or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
they should by
Yeah.
1 foot outpace a horse. I think that's totally
Yeah.
fair.
The only advantage to going for an Axebeak is have 6 more health, which at low level is a huge step up.
They shouldn't.
Yeah.
They should
I feel
have like
like-
less health but more dexterity. Like they should be more maneuverable.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's not more dexterity. Axebeaks do have more dexterity than a riding horse. A riding horse only has a 10,
that makes sense.
but a horse has a 16 strength, and that's why they're able to do more damage.
Mhm.
But and also to have the 2d4 instead of the 1d8, so that's why the ceiling's a little skewed there. But yeah, that doesn't seem right to me. Where I feel like nearly, I mean, shoot, in a similar vein, like give it like the brute combat feature, kind of like bugbears have, to where they do an extra damage die when they attack. If you're not going to buff the stats,
Actually, because
yeah, the
they could
hooves of a
deal more
warhorse do
damage.
2d6. God dang, and they have a trampling
the
ability.
fuck?
What?
They should get like a charge attack, and I think they should do more damage to smaller creatures.
Yeah, warhorses do have charge, which that's kind of how warhorses
Come on. Yeah.
historically
Charge and
work.
trample,
So
Yeah.
that is fair. But
I'm like thinking of some of the because I would definitely basically just give them like things that I feel are a must. Bumping up the speed, bumping up the attack for sure.
Mhm.
Like I might give them like a. If anything, I might keep the 1d8, but maybe give them like a multi attack.
yeah, because
Or even
Yeah, like a beak and some sort of stamp or trample. Because
oh,
Oh, yeah,
talons.
like claw,
long-legged
yeah,
birds, cassowaries. Back to that, they can like slit your throat like nobody's business with
Yeah.
their little talons. They can dance around you.
Oh.
Secretary birds.
Yeah, I was
are
going to say
known-
secretary birds.
They're known for stamping on snakes. So
Actually-
like, yeah, these things should just be like a fucking wallop combo of killing anything
'Cause
that's
it-
smaller than them.
you raise a really good point because on top of that, like real life fucking terror birds from like way long ago, they would, I forget which one specifically, but I know that there was one that would basically hunt tiny horses. And the way that they would do it is they would kick the shit out of them. Like it's literally like they would like run up and just fucking punt a horse and like knock it on its ass and just
Sheesh.
swallow it.
Yeah.
That's called horse tipping.
But yeah, no, honestly, like multi-attack fucking like give that fucking hatchet hit and like a fucking brutal
Yeah.
ass kick. Even having like that potential, because that would be, if anything, that could make sense with the fucking hatchet, where it's like maybe give them like some kind of introductory kind of pounce. Have them like basically smack something onto the ground, similar to like a horse knock, like a war horse when it like pushes something onto the ground, and that way it's like, oh yeah, maybe from there, like they're getting advantage on like a downed target, and they're just fucking axe smashing their fucking head down on it.
Yeah. You know what'd be dope is you give them like how Chocobos have them in Final Fantasy, actually, where they have the little glide. Like they don't.
Oh yeah.
Like Zelda chickens. Yeah, they should. Either they get like a short fly speed or some kind of hover, or they should be immune to fall damage, which immediately makes them much better than horses. Because if you come to a cliff like at the end of
I love that little chicken.
Like Velma and Louise, they drive that car off the cliff. Imagine they were riding a Chocobo or an Axebeak. They just go.
Man, like if only Velma and Louise knew how to double jump.
Right? They would jump right before or jump out of the car. I feel like they maybe did. That's why they had to freeze it because the story.
Yeah. So ideas I would have with Axebeaks going from that is like having almost an equivalent to the horse, having like a speedy Axebeak, something that's like super fast and maybe has like the small wings, and then one that's maybe like horse equivalent, but it has like basically a feather fall ability, and it's just like it doesn't necessarily fly, but you can glide down with it.
Like Zelda chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chicken.
The chicken.
Fucking.
Yeah, I saw the chicken. I'm sorry, I didn't acknowledge it.
Dude, did you see the fucking chicken?
Wait, hold on.
Fucking see shit.
Hold on, what is that?
Look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, actually.
Oh, yeah, dude. I think it's a.
Oh, dang! You had that ready.
I was sculpting an Axebeak like a long time ago that I never fucking finished.
You guys are not ready for this. I also have a bird on my desk.
Oh shit! What the fuck is that? It's a little banana.
It's a banana duck.
I gotta say I'm proud of you, Logan. I expected you just to flip us off.
That would have been funnier.
Dude, I think I'm 3 for 3 for pulling up a mini specific to the top.
Yeah, you.
Congratulations. Here's your autism.
Yes. Yes, dude, yes. I've been waiting for this. Yes.
Yeah. One day Mario's going to flip the camera around and we just see it is just a wall of figures, like just Warhammer size collection.
I could have pulled this fucker out too. I had a gargoyle on my
A gargulus? Whoa.
A gargulus. But regardless.
Regardless.
I just really love the fantasy of them. I love I feel like it always pissed me off that they're not done justice, because it's like and it is very much like I remember the artist that did the Rime of the Frost Maiden thing mentioning like, oh, people don't use this enough. And it's like I get why, because one, they didn't have art initially, or at least not for 5e. And like obviously like a lot of people back at the early times of stuff were not going through like the deep dive to find everything. And because of that, a lot of people would overlook it, so nobody would really bring up an Axebeak. And
yeah, I saw it in now that I think about it, I do remember seeing it in Chult, and I assumed that was the first ever instance of it. So
yeah, and they have a bunch of riding dinos, so I feel like they did kind of try to push mounts at that time. They just didn't take. And Chult is incredibly difficult to traverse, even with creatures, because there's so much wet ground. The weather is so prevalent.
Yeah.
So yeah, Axebeaks, like, they don't take up a lot of space, and they don't need too much space to move through an area. So I feel like they are the prime mount for dangerous environments.
Yeah, you pretty much need them to outrun some dinosaurs you run, Chult.
Yeah, especially if they actually have a real movement speed instead of lollygagging.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of goes to show, like, in the same sense of like the role that they fill in environments. The reason terror birds died out in the Americas is because their primary like competitor were big cats, and that's why big cats became more of they ended up like taking over here in the US, and that's why terror birds ended up like dying out. So it's like
over.
Yeah. There's those big old putty tats, and now the putty tats, they eat the Tweety birds, and like, you know, it's just chaos.
Absolute chaos.
But it is very much just like taking up that like little. If anything, that would be like a sick ass thing to consider, environmental wise, of like how they fit. Because I feel like they would be in areas that they would be prevalent in. They would be the apex predators.
Absolutely.
Yeah, unless it came across a horse and he just beat him to death.
Unless the horse showed up and it was like, hey, nice 1d6, loser. Fucking like bucks his neck, smashes it, fucking throws him on the floor, kisses him.
Makes out with him on the floor.
Raises family together.
Raises sweet, loving family together.
Meets parents.
Oh, yeah.
The horse talks about how much he loves his fucking sweet, beautiful Axebeak companion.
Makes couples YouTube channel. I'm sorry.
They make DIYs.
Raises
how to love your partner.
Raises axe horses together. It's just a centaur with a big bird head. They make hippogriffs.
Fuck!
Gross.
Yo!
But where the fuck was I going with the?
I'm just so
we're lost.
now remembered hippogriffs and griffins, like the other fantasy mounts and periots. They're all so much stronger than horses and make you. That just feels so weird. They made a mount in a fantasy setting, then made them not as good as the mount we have in real life.
I wonder if it had to do. Yeah, I think it was probably somebody being like, "Oh, well, we don't want to make horses obsolete," because I guess.
Yeah, you need a front line of like everyone uses horses because if Axebeaks were better at this or that, then you'd just see armies running around on chocobos.
Yes,
and that
on
look a
fucking
little weird.
chocobos.
I want to meet this person,
but that's why.
And shake their hand and say, "I disagree."
I just want to shake his hand.
Let me shake his hand. Bring him to me.
And like,
meet me at PAX West in the East Wing.
Let me shake
meet me in the PAX parking lot. I want to give you a piece of my mind.
I'm going to give you a piece of steak and tell you it's horse meat.
I want to give you a piece of my mind and a piece of these lips. If you wish to lock in, how about you meet me there? But this is
I'll
why
ride my chocobo.
when I introduce them in settings, or at least so far, like in, I guess my setting, what I've had set up for them is kind of the same thing of, you know how griffins are in lore, it's kind of set up of like, oh, they're really difficult to tame, so like you have to like raise them from like a child. I feel like for Axebeaks, it might be a similar situation of just like, oh, they're real fucking, like, they're awesome mounts. They're a bitch to like fucking, raise and properly tame. Not everybody does it. It's more of a new idea that people are like trying to do. It costs a lot of money. So it's more of like, dude, they're awesome, but it's a bitch.
Same Final Fantasy, where if you see one in the wild, it's on site. You domesticate one, they'll be your bestie, but untamed when they come for you.
Shepherds. Yeah.
And wild horses is the same way, where wild horses, they did a whole Disney movie about it.
Yeah.
Spirit.
I have it on VHS.
Growing up, I had it on VHS. That's an emotionally tied film. I love it.
Nah.
I'll never forget when that horse was thirsty as fuck. And the guy pulled out his cantina. He's like, oh, it's so good. Oh, and it like drips down his chin. Yeah, he showers in it at the end. And you're like, if no one else has ever made in a minor. I know what joke it is. You so easily communicate this guy is scum when they present something the main character wants, and he's just like, it's like, fuck.
Delicious.
It's great. Yeah, it was beautiful.
God, that really was just a beautiful movie.
You know what that reminds me of? That scene? Just nodding back to Mario's joke.
Yeah, fucking
Okay.
um,
You're trying to make my podcast degenerate again.
so let's get back to Axebeaks. I don't know if you remember this.
No.
In a game that Chuck ran for Tall Tales. That was like an early on time that I used Chester too, like the one character. I asked, hey, can I give him a mount? And I like picked an Axebeak. He like rode in on an Axebeak that was named Hatchet, and it was just literally like, yeah, if I could
loose memory of that.
It was like it was very much just like a, I don't know. I love the fucking aesthetic of these guys. They're sick as hell, and I feel like very much similar to an Aarakocra. It's just like, oh man, you could do so much shit with these things because they're birds, like having variants.
Yeah, I definitely want to do more of them now. Just at least, I think it'd be cool if they're like a regional thing, like maybe one region, this is just the mounts they have, like horses aren't native to their land.
I always love the aesthetic of two armies with different ideologies from different, not just cultures, but environments. Like a bunch of dudes show up riding lizards at the edge of a sand dune, and on the other side is a bunch of dudes riding Axebeaks. Like, that's perfect.
That'd be dope.
It's like, it makes me they are different.
It makes me think about like when I was reading through some stuff about Axebeaks, something that popped up, because I know it's probably in Tomb of Annihilation, but there's like a small like section of just like turtles in Chol will sometimes sell them to like people that are like visiting around there, and in my head I'm just like, dude, I really fuck with the idea of like either lizard folk or like turtles just riding on like big birds like with spears and shit. That's actually sick as fuck.
That is dope. Of just like you outrun a turtle thinking there's no way to catch you, and they just like start rolling up on you.
Well, because I love the idea of like this little fucker running, and then all of a sudden this Axebeak like swoops its head underneath his legs.
Fuck
and, like,
yeah, that's such a cool visual. Now I want like a big lagomorph mount, like a big fucking rabbit, to have a turtle ride it and be like, the turtle and the hare are working together. It's over. Pack it up.
That would be sick. A giant rabbit would be scary as fuck, honestly.
Yeah.
Like Boomy's big old bunny goat.
Yeah. Foo or whatever it was.
Because you hear this fucking whoom, whoom as it keeps like fucking.
Yeah. Were they any different in Schultz? Because I know like they made a point of making all the Aarakocra there looking like tropical birds. So.
Yeah, they were just colorful. They had like toucan feathers, but beyond that, they didn't have any different morphology.
Because that'd be kind of taste the shows. Because I'm kind of wondering, like, just like variant ideas in my mind are kind of coming up. Where like you had a toucan that was like a spear beak.
Yeah, I mean, you need to sort of explore the idea of what their hunting behavior is, and I feel like an axe beak is not super effective. That's more defensive, or that's something they would use to literally like
woodpecker,
like woodpeckers, where they would chop trees down to make nests from the wood. That seems like something they would do.
I was also thinking of them chopping into like termite infested trees or
and like eating the bugs. Maybe they have like a long tongue that can like.
What's really funny is in that thing that I had you guys help me out for that isn't NDA, but eventually we'll find out. I'm working with guys who make decks of cards, and one of the creatures in there is actually called, and I don't fucking know why I didn't say anything until just now. Like, it skipped my mind, even though I finished writing it yesterday. I have a shovel beak.
Hey, nice.
Ooh.
And yeah, they are stork-like birds who can burrow reliable tunnels, and they will make like they'll use the shovel to sort of dig and look for grubs in the dirt or in the mud, and then they'll find cliff faces or caves and add little segments to them and like use those as sort of mating rituals and nests, and like, oh, I shoveled this out really good. And I feel like Axebeaks should serve something similar. So I think the idea of them chopping down trees, like sort of craning their necks effectively, like doing this and that. Yeah, would be
No,
really
I like
cool.
that. I like the idea of potentially one. I also like the termite thing because it would serve two purposes. One, for fucking making nests. Two, like there's it kind of makes me think of like eyes as well, of like how
Oh yeah, they're big
or,
little booger grabbers.
yeah. I like the idea of potentially them having like, because they have this weird like curved beak. So I kind of picture what they're like, if they have a tongue, maybe it could be something that like reaches out. So maybe it's like, oh, they like
yeah,
snap into a tree, and maybe they pull out grubs or like other things. And I mean, because I feel like they would either, because it could, I don't think that would be the majority of their diet, but I would think like
grubs.
Yeah, like grubs and stuff. But
that is an interesting point. Is that they are not geared for hunting fish, which is what most long-legged birds hunt.
Yeah,
I don't know. Are emu? They could be herbivores. They could like chop through peat or moss to like get to something. But
yeah, because I'm thinking with kind of what me and Mario are throwing around, like their main like things would be like termites, grubs out of rotten trees, or like busting open anthills and working like an anteater.
That's what I was going to say.
I feel like big terror birds. You go ahead.
There's a tiny extra route where with pelicans, they have long beaks because they have a literal like bag pouch at the bottom.
Yeah.
So these things could have that extra space where, like you guys are talking about, like an anteater, they sort of have a coiled up tongue at the top that they would need to like have filling that space. So when they chop stuff down, they would just have a stupid like 4-foot long tongue.
I feel like with especially like a big bird like this, because these guys are going to be like able to carry like people and shit. I feel like with a lot of terror birds, they would probably eat meat. I feel like maybe not completely their diet, but I do kind of picture like them potentially running, like catching smaller animals, maybe because them being like these kind of like
super fast.
Yeah, super fast. Like I could picture them like chasing rabbits out or something and like just scooping them up. Or again, like giving those kicks, like just running forward, kicking something, scooping it up and just like swallowing it whole. Fucking
I'm picturing like putting a stick in your bike pedal, sort of just they run up and they like kick you behind the knee so you fall down and they're like, gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's a real quick tangent. So the type of emus were herbivores. They're actually omnivores, and they forage a variety of plants and insects, but they can go weeks without eating. It drinks them frequently, but intakes a copious amount of fresh water when opportunity arises.
Yeah, because I could picture it. I could picture like because these guys.
Yeah. They're kind of camel-like, it seems like, where they just have a lot of storage space.
Yeah, they just... Well, I would imagine in that vein, emu are also burst hunters, like wildcats, where they store energy and they reserve it, and when there's a promise of food that they can recuperate spent energy, they will blitz them. Like, they'll immediately run, attack with full vigor, and then sort of chow through the meal and be dormant until the next hunt.
If anything, I feel like it might depend on the environment. Well, obviously it depends on the environment, but it's like, because I picture, for example, like a Cholt setting, I picture that there would probably be like areas where it is rife with life that it could just easily like start scooping up. Like, again, I like that thought too, of just the visual of, potentially you're crossing through an area and you see these trees that are chopped down, and like maybe a native will be like, we should step the fuck back. We're near a nest. That's like signs of a nest around here. Like
we see a giant log cabin nest, like,
it has this like sick ass like log cabin. It's sitting in its like study. It's
got a big beard and a top hat.
It's sitting in a rocking chair, just like squatted down, but just like the chair's rocking slowly back and forth.
It's got these nasty velociraptor kind of like arms, and it's like smoking a big, like a hobbit pipe. But because I don't know, you bringing up like the axe straight up just chopping down wood, which I feel is such a fucking obvious thing. I really fuck with that, like just finding a big ass nest of these fuckers. Because that's another question, is whether or not they would be like pack hunters or just like these, what the fuck do you call them? Like lone kind of predators.
I believe you're thinking Sigma.
Sigma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These Sigma grind setters.
Yeah. Sigma beaks.
Sigma beak.
I believe emus are pack creatures. Like they do little herds.
I grew up with the guy who had 2 of them, and they were very amicable. Like they were friendly with each other. They never. Yeah. I don't think they ever like snapped at each other, so it doesn't seem like they're too territorial. I think they would be nomadic group hunters, which is I think what Chocobo actually are. You can find them in like clusters of groups, and they'll like run through fields.
That's scary. And thinking of like just hearing a pack of these fuckers like start like charging through.
It would flash in your mind of like 15 barbarians running at you with throwing axes, like screaming, and you're like, oh, those things are all holding axes and they're running at me. Oh my god.
Because I'm also picturing either if they're giving these like fucking like bird-like noises, or if they're having that creepy ass like emu drumming bubble.
I'm imagining the drum noise, because that drum noise just kind of shocked me so much.
They would kind of have large like chambers in their beaks. I think the way that they're designed, even though they're narrow, so they would probably chitter a lot, like do this sort of like a spooky way.
Oh fuck.
It wouldn't be too bassy, but like bass shouldn't equate to scariness. I know in the wild it equates to if something is big, it's bassy. But gorillas, when they pound their chests, sounds like popping bubble wrap, and then they can just rip you limb from limb or throw you over a tree.
Fucking. Because I like another thing I was thinking about too, because something I also really love thinking environment-wise with some of these. I really liked how the Rhyme of the Frost Maiden art is, because something about how wide the feet of them are makes me think of like snowshoes. And I love the thought of these guys like moving around, because that's another spot where I could see like, oh yeah, we need to travel this area with Axebeaks, and it's like, why? And it's because some of the snow's really like fucky here. We don't want to like fall in, so the way that their feet are, they're able to spread their weight like really evenly and like not like easily like walk around in the snowy kind of areas. I don't know. I think I really like Axebeaks just because it does activate that, because it is literally like saying again of just that they're this fantasy creature, but it is having to put more thought into what it means to have this thing just in the environment. Because to me, it feels boring to just show up somewhere and they're like, oh, by the way, we have Axebeaks. And it's more of like, it should feel kind of weird. It should feel like it should be impactful that they're even around.
Yeah, I nearly feel like you leave like your little like secluded area, like you're past the starting area. You're used to like seeing a horse every now and then. That's a sign of affluence. Then you see like a herd of these things, like, hey, yo.
Yeah.
Tiny offshoot, because I do like the idea of unique mounts sort of defining a shift into more magical territory, because it's not something we see.
Right.
Do you guys have a favorite mount in any setting? And you can say Axebeaks, but I have a specific one.
Favorite mount?
All right. I'm kind of biased toward Pegasus just because me being someone who loved Greek mythology stuff growing up, but also my Paladin, he had a greater steed. So he had a Pegasus that he rode. And that was just... So I'm a little biased toward that one. But Pegasus is just a classic. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But Purely aesthetic wise, probably a griffin. Griffins are just dope looking.
I think.
Yeah.
Because one, honestly, Axebeak probably would have been my answer because I've used it for a couple stuff. But one that I've always wanted to utilize, especially for like potentially a boss enemy, I love the thought of having a Gorgon as like a mount.
Oh, yeah, the big bull Gorgon.
That's the metallic bull, yeah.
Yeah, metallic bull that fires like petrifying gas. I love the fucking thought of just like...
Just forget about those.
Because
Medusa, I don't consider you a mount, just FYI. I respect you too much.
Lady Gorgon.
Because that's also...
Poseidon considered her a mount.
Oh my god. I feel bad for
anyways. I laid the groundwork, but then I regretted what was built and looked upon my creation and rejected it.
I think Gorgons themselves are also like another one that are a really cool, I guess, thinking of how they fit in the ecosystem kind of thing. Some old, like, honestly, they should probably get an episode at some point, but they have like a cool idea as well of like why they have like these scales. They're also like basically a Catoblepus is their origin of like where Gorgons come from.
Stupid fucking thing.
Really?
Wait, really?
Yeah, and D&D, the reason
the world's stinkiest monster.
Yes. So because Catoblepus have the death ray. They have the thing of like,
that's right.
They look at you, you die. Gorgons are basically... this is the issue with D&D sometimes, is the too many cooks issue. Basically, somebody comes up with the same idea and they remix it. But so there was a thought of a Catoblepus having this like super tough skin, and what that translated into with the Gorgon, because there is actually like old depictions of Catoblepuses having straight up like either stone or metal... Catoblepi, having either stone or metal scales, and which is also just, it's so funny to think of like, this is literally just a guy went to Africa, he saw wildebeest, and he's like, dude, he looked at me and I fucking almost died, dude. And it is, I love the lore. Some of the old lore for Gorgons is like their skin is like either like metal, but they can turn things into stone, and they can turn themselves into stone. And the way that that's useful is they sink in water. So when they feel themselves surrounded by water, they will petrify themselves and wait until they're in an area where they're completely dry.
Weird.
And then once
like
their
Dio.
body... Yeah. So it's like so once they're like resurfaced, they'll like like petrify themselves, and there's like cool ass ideas with it of just like, oh yeah, some people were like, they went in that river and they found these really sick ass statues, so we thought we'd like put it in the town square, and like you just suddenly have like Gorgons,
and suddenly that's awesome.
The pillar
town
man, the fucking
the pillar man. Their theme slaps.
But
it's pretty hype.
I think Gorgons are just sick as fuck.
Why did the Catoblepus follow the Raven Queen?
It was like 3 writers who just had different ideas, and they just slapped them together in this dumb, ugly, lanky monster. I don't know.
Everyone lately just wants the Raven Queen associated with what they make.
Thank you, Matt Mercer.
Thank you, Matt Mercer. No, thank you, everyone else at D&D. Meet me at PAX East on the west side.
Yeah. We're going to fight Matt Mercer at an Applebee's parking lot.
I think legitimately, thank you, Matt Mercer. Fuck you guys for just jumping off of like literally it's just annoying ass motherfuckers that are like, oh my god, I never thought of how sick as fuck the Raven Queen was. And it's more just like Matt Mercer was probably just like, oh, here's like a
he dredged it up, some random.
It's like a player decided, oh, let's go with the Raven Queen, like Liam O'Brien, like having his character like worship her or whatever.
It wasn't even intended. She was a set piece. Then the story kind of just like ended up going in that direction.
That's actually creative. People just dick writing on like that is just annoying because now it's super overdone.
Yeah. Matt, I love you. If I met you at an Applebee's, I would buy you like $5 Ritas. We'd all drink them, and I think we'd have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did see him at that one convention, standing in the front door like Freddy Fazbear. And
dude, I was so nervous.
Every time I'm like, he's like an animatronic, like standing. Yeah.
I'm still laughing at you pointed out, and you mess with me so much. I genuinely thought you were doing it again because you know how much I love that guy. Because you know, right off screen there's a poster of Trafalgar Law, and it's one of my characters, and he voices him. But aside from all the Critical Role stuff, but then I look around and I see the vest and I'm like, oh my God, it's him.
I saw the perfect hair and I was like, what the fuck? That's not real. Oh, it's him.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm mad at them because the Seeker was originally going to be called the Traveler. And apparently that's a prolific character. And I was like, oh, well.
All right.
Okay. Fuck! And in that loose vein, because I didn't even answer the question I posed.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, Matt Mercer. Meet us at PAX East at the Applebee's.
You just said PAX East.
I keep saying PAX East, but PAX Unplugged. It is in East though.
Paku. I did the first Stibbles book, and I have a second one that's been locked in the chamber, like it's the next barrel to be fired for the longest time. Called Stibbles Menagerie of Mounts. And yeah, I don't have a publisher for that currently, but that's something like if I get a major project or a major book thing that I want to go through, like Kobold Press, I might reach out sometime down the line when I have the space. But my favorite mount in media is from the Dark Crystal, called the Land Strider. I love those things and the way they move. They're so cool. And one of the people who wrote for Twisted Taverns actually worked on the official Dark Crystal like TTRPG. And she did like deep lore research into this. And I was talking to her about it. She's like, yeah, I've already done that. I was like, what? You what?
You what?
I have never seen one of those before. Those are cool.
Yeah. You haven't seen Dark Crystal?
So cool.
No, I never have.
It's
fucking
great.
Awesome. I love the Skeksis.
The Skeksis, yeah. And
the
then
fucking little bastard that goes.
And he's actually like the best one of them, even though he's a little bastard. He's like the nicest one.
Wait, are those like the vulture folk? Oh, yeah.
Yep. The sexies. Were they terrible? I remember.
That's me, Logan.
When I was, hell yeah. When I watched it as a kid, they like strip him like bare naked and they rip all this shit off of him. And he was so thin that when I was a kid, I thought they ripped his flesh off.
Holy crap.
Like they actually tore him apart, but no, they just derobed him.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's so weird because my mom like raised me on a whole bunch of 80s stuff, but I just never saw that.
Wow.
It's also a Muppets movie.
Oh, is it? Who's the guy that did that?
It was done by the guy that did the Muppets.
Jim Henson.
Jim Henson.
Yeah.
Jim Henson did the Dark Crystal.
Jim Henson's reach is so insane, like how many like popular medias he's worked with.
Yeah, the Dark Crystal and Neverending Story were like shown to me at the same time. They're in the exact same pocket in my brain. The cool thing about Skeksis is that each one of them has a unique beak. So there's probably one out there that has an axe beak. We're back.
We're back. Let's go.
With the axe beak. But
it's a shame that horse came and beat them all to death.
Yeah, that horse.
Damn it.
That dead horse beat him to death.
Yeah, no, I guess because I'm like thinking of what else to add here because I'm like because I don't necessarily want to dive too much on just like here's what I've done with them because I feel like that's like leading near the end. Just like
there's not a lot about the. We are close to the end, I think.
Yeah, we're 53 minutes, and usually just the point where I'd start saying we wrap unless the topic's really going good. And the only other thing I wanted to add is I've had some just like kind of brewing ideas in my head. So I'm nearly wondering if like just making like a dire version of it and just calling it a poleaxe beak.
You know what? Giant Axebeak.
Oh, heck yeah. Is
I
that
was
a
about to,
Cobalt
like,
Press
double-
book?
Right.
No, dude, this is the new Dungeon.
Yeah, that's the new D&D book.
I didn't know that we had huge ones. I didn't know there was text in this. What the fuck? Yeah,
Wait, does it
alone or
actually
in
have
small
new
groups.
lore?
Yeah, they're flightless, swift predators, colorful, tropical in areas. So yeah, just a callback to Chult.
Okay.
They're difficult to train. Normal Axebeaks stalk prey in like alone or in small groups, so it fits kind of both of our concepts. When they work together, they will use hunting tactic like pack tactics normally. And the giant ones dwell in primeval realms. So it's island gigantism. They often
Yeah.
compete with dinosaurs and other giant beasts for
Makes
territory. And then
sense.
the little text is the thing's got an axe for a face and a giant angry rooster for everything else. Of course, I want to ride it. That's very, very funny.
Yo, these
Meet
fuckers
me
have,
at
honestly,
PAX.
I would go off of like the giant.
Whoever wrote that, meet me at Paxton Applebee's.
I would go off of some of the shit with the giant Axebeak here, because literally they have what we're bringing up, which is like, so one, they buffed the fucking beak. Obviously, I would just probably shift it down like a couple dies instead of like 2d12. They have here maybe like 2d6.
That's a bit. Yeah.
And the talons, it does knock a creature prone.
Okay,
yeah.
that seems
literally
cool.
the-
That's
actually.
what. Yeah, exactly
Literally
what
what we
we were saying.
fucking
Where they would
said. Yeah.
kick your shins in and then be like, ba 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 ba.
If anything, it's still, even though it's fucking bigger, it still has 50 feet of movement. Make that shit
What the-
faster.
No, that's 120 feet. That guy can run.
A horse can outrun that. That is. Oh my god! You nearly had me new D&D. You nearly had me.
almost fucking had me.
You almost got me. I would have gave you a hug at PAX East in the West Hall.
Now you have to meet us at Applebee's. What the hell, man?
No Dollaritas, straight to it.
I get the Dollaritas, not you.
Going to come out and crush two of them, just like Stone Cold style, and meet you there.
Actually, talking about the mount thing too, and talking about Matt Mercer earlier, I know that he also had
Don't do that.
there was the introduction of those
Yeah, be
specific.
careful.
Don't mount
No, it
him.
was the introduction
Don't
of the
mount him.
specific
Marisha will
mounts
kill you.
for their setting.
Oh yeah, Warbounders, right?
Yes, I thought those were sick.
Those are pretty cool. I will
I-
do like the giant cat ones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
'Cause
a
it's basi-
moorbounder.
Yeah, because aren't they like
Yeah.
six-legged cat creatures?
Stop stealing my six-legged creatures. No, they just have tusks. They've got two legs. Yeah, they're just big cats with tusks.
Fucking.
Okay, so
You're thinking
Is
of
it
Displacer
duos?
Beasts. They look similar.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Displacer
okay.
Beasts are what you're thinking of, because these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like
I don't know if I ever saw
normal
a
legs,
picture of
but
them.
they're sick. They also have they have something unique too. The standing leap. They can fucking jump up to 40 feet.
The hell?
Yeah, and they were also a
Yeah.
regional thing in because they were the creatures that lived in the Bright Queen's territory in the second campaign. That's
Which
the
is
mounts that they
cool.
used.
It's giving
I don't
your
know anything
setting
about
some cool shit, and it's putting it in like I love the idea of going to a new place and you have like really out there kind of monsters, and on top of that, these guys are beasts, so it's like a fucking thing of just like, oh, something cool that the druid can now turn into.
Girl.
Fucking
Yeah, and it also kind of works as a little saber-toothed tiger variant if you like saber-toothed tigers.
yeah.
Oh wait, I think saber-toothed tigers are CR2s actually. Huh.
But
Challenge rate you at a 2.
I guess
don't read
yeah.
us at PAX
Let's
East.
talk about have you guys ever used Axebeaks in games?
Yeah, like I said, it just occurred to me that they were even in D&D, and I remember seeing them in Chult, but they just never came across my party. So unfortunately, no.
I have a very, very large soft spot for mounts to the point where I want to make a book celebrating them. But when it comes to the actual use in D&D, and it'll affect kind of how I see the rating of them, it's just hard to find a good place for them where they add to the narrative valuably, other than, being character. Like, you can't, as a dungeon master, interact with your party through an Axebeak more than just telling them about the environment a little bit. So I have used mounts a few times, but I lazily opt for horses, and I regret that. Well, actually, one time in Tesseract, I didn't use an Axebeak, but I used a 20-foot tall human head with a bunch of tentacles on the bottom.
Oh, I think that was when they met was that
Yeah.
near like the final boss guy?
That was near
before
the end, yeah.
Yeah, that was before
Yeah,
the
that's the
TPK.
one.
Yes, I remember that.
Huh.
Fucking. Also, is the not to sidetrack too much? Is the fucking Stibbles mounts book? Wasn't that the initial idea that you had, like when you first started up your Patreon, or was it more so for? Because I remember you talking something about wanting to do something with mounts, and that was initially when I first like started following your Patreon, and I don't know if that was like specifically the thing, or if that
It might
was
have
like
been like immediately post the first launch of Stibbles, where it like out of the 7 ideas for books that I have, it was one that I might have brought up. But no, my Patreon was maybe just kind of loose announcements, and I was homebrewing for a lot of people.
Fucking regardless, I think the main thing, because I have had Axebeaks show up in my game, like my long running one. Because one, I've sprinkled them here and there. I feel like I've used them wrong in the same sense of like, I feel like they've just kind of popped up, and it's just like, damn, I feel like these things should be more impactful. When I did have one pop up in my game, it also was followed up with like I had a Leonin that was riding one, and the Leonin was from a very far land, but it was also added like, oh no, this isn't from where I'm from. When I landed here on the coast, I got this in like a town. And it was a thing of like, it kind of was trying to be a bit of foreshadowing of like, yeah, there's a lot of other shit that's out there. And fucking I want to eventually have a situation of having some sort of noble that has like an Axebeak, or having like some higher kind of official person riding an Axebeak, and it just being more of, since my idea would be like these things are real tough to like get off of just like needing to tame them and like all the bullshit to take care of them. I would say it is a nobility status. I would love an idea of like some kind of noble house that has like an Axebeak as like a family crest, or like some sort of like national bird, because it's like it's a status kind of thing.
Yeah.
I kind of, this is more of me just like spilling out like loose consciousness ideas that I've had for like the past couple of years of stuff, but I really like the idea of just Axebeaks being this just sign of the kind of people that are around, and like it is like just kind of showing, oh yeah, this area is like different, and here's like one of the most immediate apparent ways is there's a guy on this giant fucking bird. And
Fuck yeah.
you know, it's very, and I think that's also something that you can't just do right off the bat. It has to be something to be built up to, where it's like, I feel grateful for the area that I first had players in, where it's just like, oh, you guys know magic and shit, but a lot of the people here, it's really low magic. And then outside of this region, other people start using magic and shit, and it's like a slow feed in. So when something bizarre or like more out there shows up, there is really good reason as to why the characters are like, what the fuck is that? I've never fucking seen that.
I love that.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'd say we're getting to a good point, but yeah, overall, I like them. You've definitely inspired me to want to use them more, like, because I think even as we were saying, I think that's a good sign that you're in a completely different biome when that's something you're seeing in the wild, and like a normal traveler's just looking at that, like, yeah, just don't get too close to them; they won't bother you.
Yeah.
Fuck, a really good one. I can't believe I forgot about this. Another mount thing. A buddy had something where it was straight up just, we got into a swampy biome, and he basically brought up it would be really difficult for you guys to trek through here. So people that are helping you go finish a mission thing, they're gonna give you some resources. And basically, like this big muddy axolotl looking thing like came out of like a bog, and it just had a big like lily pad type saddle on its back.
Yeah.
And
dope.
it just the way that it worked is like, you know, the fucking
Ludicolo.
lizards that run on water. It just basically did that with all of its legs, where it just started like splashing hard, and it's just like literally gliding over the fucking river. And I don't know, shit like that feels cool. It feels super memorable.
I changed my favorite mount answer to that.
Yeah.
Somewhere between that and Lapras, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So doing the final ranking, I'm going to give them a 2, and I like them as a creature, but that's such a disservice that they literally have it in their lore. They're faster than horses, than their mechanics. They're slower and weaker than horses. That is incredibly dumb.
Yeah.
I give them a generous 3 because I feel like, while yes, the stat block is super lacking, I feel like just the idea of them gives me a lot of inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I feel the same when it comes to like beasts, because you get to think about the ecology and like how they function, why they evolved to be what they are, and what features are super prominent. But when it comes to mounts, we don't have enough exploring. You really need to justify using them, which is really tragic. So in D&D, I give them a 2. In terms of concept and narrative, I give them a strong 4. A perfectly mid 4 when it comes to like, if it was in a book or a video game and you called it a Chocobo, that's awesome. But when it's in D&D,
yeah, so
take it or leave it, sadly.
Yeah, I get you. But yeah, no, it was a good topic. I'm glad it was suggested, but yeah, that just kind of left me wanting more, you know, where
I think
we should next week or next couple weeks from now, we should all come with monsters that we want to give a 1 and just be mad.
Actually, that would be a good one. Like, here's the worst shit.
I mean, I did have Jackalware, so I'm going to have to think of another one that just absolutely fills me with rage.
I think with Jackalwares, the one thing is just like, I think that whole episode, I was like, I want to like them.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's just disappointing. Where like Axebeaks still is like a cool like set piece. They're cool, but Jackalwares is anything else could be a better Jackalware than a Jackalware.
I think the cool thing with Axebeaks is just the potential, because one, we were able to actually do it. Like, I remember when Logan suggested Axebeak, I was really eager to do it because I was like, I'm really curious if we could make a fucking episode of just an Axebeak.
Yeah.
But
okay.
The fact that we could do an episode off of an Axebeak, and the fact that it's like, it's inspired me enough to want to fucking sculpt one.
That's awesome.
It is something's there. There's something about them.
Yeah. I like that idea. Yeah, that's just our little December celebration. Is we're coming up with a bunch of things we just hate.
We're coming up with the shittiest monsters you can think of.
It's a time of joy and love. We're going to hate.
We're bringing in the hate.
Then we're going to start January off with love at PAX East at the Applebee's.
And we're going to talk about succubi and incubi for 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't there like stink cows?
What?
What?
I think there's literally like one called a stink cow.
Stinkubi?
No.
Stinkubus?
Like...
Omnibus?
The Muscubus?
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to wrap there.